Don't look at me like that. You wouldn't have clicked on this video if you didn't or haven't had it. We've all struggled with it at some point, especially with the current state of the world. Many of us are barely staying afloat. Lots of us are managing as best as we can. And there are those who experience it coming in waves. It's often a part of a mocktail of other mental illnesses that I won't touch on. If you know, you know. You know? So let's say you've crawled out of that pit of despair. You've tearfully said goodbye to those you've loved, but can no longer support or hold on to. You're out roaming free, but you're never truly free, are you? You're no longer ignorant. You permanently see the world in a new lens. It's a mixture of beauty and horror. You see the patterns people engage in that all lead to the same pit you just escaped. You want to call out to them, to help. But you've learned the hard way that you involving yourself will only lead to more pain and despair. You look at the things that used to bring you joy. You don't feel resentment, just resignation. You resolve to find new things that bring you joy, no matter how difficult the search may be. You want your life back, and you're determined to get it back, no matter how hard that journey may be. A few weeks, months, years go by, and you're doing fine, disillusioned but content in your own way. Now that you've found yourself again, you think, it's time I got my social life back. After all, your friends all left, or you left them in your former life. It's time to get back out there, to find common folk with common interests. You meet a few people. There's Alicia, who loves to go out just for the sake of dancing and energy drinks. There's Darius, who's a painter by day and bartender by night. They're bright, engaging, and promising in their own way. You think to yourself, yes, I finally found people who just get it. They've worked on themselves, they've embraced their shadow, and they're not afraid of being themselves in public. But time is a cunning lady. One night after a party, Alicia opens up about her alcoholic father. Dancing is her only means of escape. Darius has a dark childhood past that lives inside of him. Painting is the only way he feels relief. Neither are in therapy, so you, unknowingly, take on that role. It's harmless at first. Friends are meant to be there for each other, right? You listen. You empathize. You share a bit of your own story, which is briefly acknowledged. Your friends really appreciate you being there for them. Their appreciation makes you feel good, like a true friend. As the weeks go by, your outings with them slowly shifts from enjoying a shared activity together to talking exclusively about their problems. You start going to bed later. You hit snooze a few more times than usual. You're so tired. Old habits start to creep in. You pick your poison of choice and indulge a little bit. It's just a little fun, right? A little relief. It tastes so good, or it makes me feel warm in all the right places. It feels good because life doesn't feel so good anymore. Days get dimmer. You drift and drift until you end up in the hole you desperately clawed your way out of. This time, either your friends are there with you or they're standing above you, looking down, an estranged look on their faces. The cycle continues. So, why am I saying all this? Well, bright, burning starling, you are either freshly out of that hole, feel the hole slowly pulling you in, or wound up right back in that hole. Okay, I'm talking about holes too much. Let's talk about Buddhism. Now, I will be briefly setting aside my issues with this deadbeat dad. So, as the story goes, Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, reached enlightenment after going through and witnessing some pretty rough circumstances in the world of illusions. Finally, the Buddha was free from the cycles of self-harm. He could finally escape the mortal woes of reincarnation and ascend to whatever level awaited him. Having reached this newfound realm of understanding, he looked back at those still stuck in the cycle. Feeling a deep desire to help them ascend, he hesitated. Why would he go back? Life is hard and heavy enough in ignorance, and now you want me to go back and bear witness to poor, precious souls blindly failing through the awful reality they either manufactured on their own or a leech at the top of a fight pit created for his own enjoyment? Absolutely not. But as we all know, the Buddha did go back. How was he able to do that? Compassion. Through compassion for the potential of at least one other person feeling the freedom he felt, he decided to return to a cycle. His cycle of choice was helping the helpless. Now, this may come off as a bold-faced lie. I'm not the preachy type. I needed to set the scene, okay? Give me a minute, let me cook. Because this story of repeating harmful cycles happens in many aspects of life. Politics, economics, generational trauma, dieting, financial literacy. Dare I go on? You touch the fire, it burns. You recoil. You think, maybe I was just touching it for too long. You touch it quickly, it still burns. Next time, you bring gloves. It takes time for the fire to cut through the gloves, but you still get burned. You use a stick to touch the fire. The stick catches fire and has potential to spread to you. And through all of this, you miss the lesson. It's hot. It hurts. Yeah, you could touch it and you could heal, but at what cost? Scars. Scars that will remind you for life. Scars that are meaningless until you heed its initial warning. Don't touch the fire. Let it exist in a paradox. Let its disturbing presence warm you. I'd like to give a personal anecdote from my life. When I was in my late teens, my parents were going through a separation. And the separation caused a lot of financial turmoil because my parents had their own issues, their own versions of their own addictions to battle. So they sent me to live with extended family. There wasn't really a conversation about what to do with me, just a lot of guilt tripping. So the extended family resented me, and so did my parents, because they felt like, in one way or another, this deep resentment for having to take care of me. Everyone did. And it was rough. It was rough on all sides because I had no say in it. I was a kid. My extended family felt guilt and resentment. And to top it all off, I was depressed. And in my depression, seeing all the sides of this dynamic, I thought that shrinking was the best way to go about things. I didn't want to be a bother. I didn't really want to be seen. I didn't really want to be present. And I thought I was helping. But what I didn't know is that I was living with a family who was not well equipped to care for someone with depression. And it took a toll on them. Now, I don't condone the way they treated me because I was depressed. However, I don't condemn them for not knowing what to do with me. It would have been nice if they had been adults and sought counseling from a professional to understand how to navigate this, or at least do a quick search on the internet. Come on, like, I'm not that old. The internet was around and alive. We had Wi-Fi. Like, come on, do something. I did it. But anyway, I digress. So yes, ironically enough, when a member of that same extended family, honestly 2 members, were going through a depression of their own years later, it took me until then to realize, wow, it really takes a toll on someone to support someone with depression, especially if the person doing supporting doesn't have a support system of their own. It's important to have access to a support system, professional advice, and even professionals in that field who know how to care for those with depression. I can understand just how much it is. This, if not anything else, is what I want you to take away from this video. It takes a bit of selfishness to get out of depression, because people often become depressed through self-abandonment or self-estrangement after a traumatic event. It also takes a bit of selfishness to think oneself is the only one who can lift others out of the pit without support, when, in fact, that is a form of self-abandonment in and of itself. Take some time to kindle that dim light within you before you share your flame with others. Guard your mental health and peace until you have a solid system of support. Until the sun feels warm again, flowers smell pleasant again, and beauty makes you cry again, you must feel selfish. And no, you are not a bad person for wanting to feel the nourishment of your own self-preservation. You are not weak for feeling that moment of hesitation before extending access to yourself to others. Build a network, because you can't do this alone, no matter what side of the hole that you're on. You are worth giving yourself the protection you deserved. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I would love to hear your stories of moments when it just clicked, that it was important for you to help yourself before you took the time to help others. And if you're in the hole now, you can't think your way out of depression. Isolation or reading materials alone doesn't help depression. Connections do. Support does. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, like it, subscribe, rant in the comments, whatever makes you feel good. And try to remember, starlings, no matter where you are, the same night sky is always looking down at you. Bye.